別行動？あの二人が？
Yeah, I mean, it would definitely seem that way. She was filled with foreboding after Robin's report. Apparently, they had gone in opposite directions. The park's residents had set off after the boy witness, and it would take them mere minutes to capture him, so the bird said. Yeah, it will definitely be easy.
追いかけているのは本当に彼？青子が変装しているのではなく。
Wait. You're not controlling them? They're going after... Okay, why would they go after him when Aoko is the one who's actually a threat? That seems strange? Counterintuitive? The robin flapped its wings, chirping away any doubt. It had seen them with its own two eyes. Aoko was heading for the plaza and the cocky brat was making a run for the roller coaster. Oh, is it because he's the one heading for the actual, like the thing that the, oh my god, how have I forgotten the name of the thing? The thing that's controlling everything. Like the actual monster.
青子が彼を見捨てたですって。
But no, because the roller coaster was the dragon, right? Like that's where the dragon came from. So, because yeah, again, I'm still pretty sure it's the Ferris wheel that's the actual like monster that's causing everything. So like, or familiar, whatever you want to call it. So that is strange. Also, no, didn't abandon him, just planned. It's, divide and conquer. You know?
そんな簡単なことならいいけど。
Yeah.
ダンプティは彼に張り付いているの？
The robin nodded enthusiastically. It didn't know about the other birds, but with its superior night vision, it had seen that sucker, clearly because he had moved to a high point. Okay.
ダンプティはなんて？最後まで歌わせろ。こんな褒め殺したい間抜けはまたとない。ですって。
Wait, what? Okay, how do I go into history? Not that. How do I I just want his tail that begins me talking about. Why would she ask about the... Okay. Scratch Dumpty was a ticking time bomb that would drop and detonate the moment its target averted its gaze. That is, as long as his target continued to observe him. In a way, he was a gentlemanly Plikkshaw, though Alice wished she would forego such niceties when in battle. Yeah, having something that's...
視線を切らないだけでは
kind?
ダンプティからは逃げられない。表面の詩が完成すれば扉が開く。
Okay. So that confirmed that that was a door on the front. That's good.
彼がどこまで逃げようと、あと少しでダンプティが閉まってくれるわ。
That doesn't sound as good as what you said before, but okay. Actually, wait, nothing she said was good. I don't know why I said that. Until the park, or rather the Snark, was destroyed, Sojiro would not be able to escape. Which meant the larger concern was Aoko. Aoko had promised to protect the boy, which begged the question, where was she running to? Good question.
ここにいる限り青子の動向はつかめない。
Alice looked out over the park, ignoring the robin's attempt to get her attention with its plumage. Flat Snark had nearly reached its full size. Okay, so there is a limit. Good. It was a different breed of beast compared to the other cheap ploys. I mean, I think AOKO said there was a limit too, but like, Alice probably knows a lot more about it, so having it confirmed by her is good. To her, it was one of her 3 most irreplaceable and precious familiars.
そうね。任せたわスナーク。青子が諦めない以上、あなたも手は抜かないで。
Alice remained where she was. With the same historical merit as the troll under the bridge and the poison-clawed reptile, Flat Snark was one of Alice's ultimate ploys. She was placing her trust in its reputation and ability.
でも忘れないで。これはゲームよ。勝敗がついたのなら、私のところに帰ってきて。
So... is she not... Okay, she's saying it's a game. Is she not actually trying to kill AOKO? Like, obviously she's trying to kill Sojiro, but maybe she doesn't want AOKO dead? Even though she went against her? I don't know. At least that's my assumption based off her saying it's a game rather than a fight to the death, so... I don't know. The drifting fog ignored its master's words. It was the one thing that Alice had misread. Flat Snark was a king, even among the other ploys of terrible, vulgar antics. Death to the defeated, gruesome tragedy to the vanquished. Oh, okay, so she doesn't want AOKO dead, I'm pretty sure. But the Snark probably won't abide by that. Okay. It found no pleasure unless it brought about total ruination of life and wealth. The fog billowed like wicked laughter. After all, only a king had the right to decide the fate of the vanquished, and the Snark's greed could not be contained. Is Alice gonna end up helping them against her own fucking familiar? Thus, and it hadn't even the slightest intent to play fair despite its master's orders. Or is she not even gonna realize that it's gonna... Over 100 feet high. One careful step at a time, the figure made its way gingerly up the track stretching into the heart of the amusement park. Yeah, that's pretty fucking high. You can literally see the wind. He stayed his beating chest and the pounding of his breath. Even tiny movements were an obstacle to his progress. Jesus, I would fucking barf. I hate heights. That's like my only major fear is heights. And anything poisonous. Poisonous spiders, poisonous snakes. If it's a spider or a snake I know isn't poisonous, I'm fine. I'm like, oh hey, what's up? But if I know it's poisonous, like I live in an area where like black and brown widows exist. So I'm always kind of like, whenever I see a spider and I'm not 100% sure what it is, I'm like, I'm gonna avoid you. I also live in a area where snakes exist, but I don't think I've seen one the entire time I've lived here. Which I guess is lucky? Yeah. Anyway. Amazingly, the one making this pale-faced advance higher and higher was Sojiro Shizuki. Far below, he saw a horde of bread creatures had congregated by the roller coaster platform. As they bustled this way and that, their numbers continued to increase by the minute, seemingly cheering on Sojiro with raised arms as he made his ascent. Right, cheering, yeah. Or jeered him, like, yeah, beckoning him to come down. That's probably more like it.
助かった。あれ、高いところは苦手なんだ。
Yeah, that's lucky. Of course, of course, neither did Sojiro, but his current state was the lesser of two evils. Yeah. The only thing that followed him now was the floating egg. After heaving a huge sigh, Sojiro bent forward a bit and climbed the track that reached to the heavens. 150 feet now. If this were a skyscraper, he would be on the 16th floor. It's terrifying. A strong gust of wind whipped through his hair. Humans had an instinctual fear of heights. I see! I'm justified! In particular, a place like this, which called forth visions of falling to one's death, would cause a person's knees to tremble against their will. It was an instinct that forewarned death, urging its master to return to the safety of the ground. It was a reasonable reaction. Climbing the roller coaster tracks went beyond funny stories and into the realm of fantasy. The strong winds and change in air pressure were a hindrance. His instincts screamed at him to stop, causing his limbs to go numb, his muscles to go limp, and his mind to race. Even if he had been tied to a lifeline, a mere 15 feet of climbing would still have caused his thoughts to freeze out of sheer terror. And it would only get worse from here, exponentially so. Every foot forward increased the load on both his mind and his body by another degree.
よし、頂上まであと少し。
The burden on his mind notwithstanding, he carefully measured the toll on his body with every step. His legs, which had carried him running this far, threatened to buckle the moment he let down his guard. This fatigue was likely why Aoko had stressed that Sojiro's role was more dangerous than hers.
待てよ。
Yeah.
逆を言うと、疲れてなければなんとかなると思ってたんだよな、青崎は。
I don't know, man. Sojiro laughed as he stared at the floating egg. He reflected on the course of events that had led to this absurd situation. Oh, we're gonna hear the plan? Not even 10 minutes ago, they had been engaged in— What, you climbed that high in not even 10 minutes? Okay, I'm calling bullshit on that. There is no way you climbed that high on this— Because, like even if it's like a steady incline, right, that you can walk, there is no way you get that high in less than 10 minutes. There is no way. Okay, yeah, you know, sure.
じゃあ次ね。正体が分かった以上、あとはどう壊すかを話し合いましょう。
Sojiro felt a shudder travel down his spine at Aoko's smug grin. In hindsight, Aoko had been more than happy at this point to make him do something absurd. Yeah, after the way he talked to you, yeah, I guess. I mean, he wasn't that harsh. I mean, he was being honest, like, but yeah, you know, I get why she'd probably be a little bit pissed and vindictive, and happy to make him do something crazy. You know, it's fair.
どう壊すかって、それなら。
Blow it the fuck up. Sojiro had spoken up, figuring that what he was about to say was silly, especially considering Aoko had the magecraft to tear clean through the fence. Yeah. Furthermore, up till now, he had not once offered his insight as to the true form of Flat Snark, only due to his belief that there was nothing they could have done about it even if they were the wiser. Okay. But that had changed. For Aoko, the impossible was quite literally within her grasp.
そうでもないわ。私の目算だと、あと50メートル分、ギリギリで届かない。
Okay. Despair filled Sojiro's eyes. What's the plan then? Aoko lifted a hand to her long hair and, with the magical energy in her fingertip, cut a clean tuft from her head. What, did she rig her hair to explode? Like, what?
足りない分は努力と根性ってね。
Okay.
あなたはできるだけ高いところまで逃げて。頃合いを見て合図を出すから。そうしたらこれを空に放ってくれる？
Oh, no! That was a slight pause, and I thought she was done, and so I clicked. Well, she started talking right as I clicked. God. Hang on. I mean, it's not that big of a deal, because like I could read all what she'd said. When the time is right, I'll give you a sign. Just toss us into the air. That's all you need to do. Okay. But based on where Aoko pointed her gaze, she didn't really mean to leave it up to Sojiro to pick the highest place he could find. Aoko was staring conspicuously at one of the amusement park's two main attractions, the roller coaster.
つまり青崎とは別行動をとってあの怪物たちに追われながら高いところに逃げ込めと。
Something like that.
そういうこと。ほら、あのうねうね動き出してるコースターのレールとかよくない？
The fucking vindictive look on her face, like, yeah, you talk smack about me, man. So you know what? This is you gotta do some crazy shit. There were two demons in this park. Yeah. Her smile made even Sojiro want to respond that it was far from perfect.
疑いたくはないんだが。
Yeah.
本当はあの子とグルで俺を遠回しに殺そうとしてるんじゃないか。
She could have killed you a long time ago if she wanted to do that.
あら、私に殺されるのならいいんでしょ？
You know, he did say that, so I guess. Yeah, okay.
人の出現を悪用するのは良くないと思う。
Sojiro hung his head. This was not sane. Yeah, fair. If he did as she said, he would die from exhaustion before Kitsy even had a chance to eat him.
私だって鬼じゃないわ。ほら、こっち向いて。
It's so funny when his mouth does that. He's like,
おまじないかけてあげる。
Okay. It was the lightest of touches. Uh-huh. Close enough for their breath and skin to come into contact. Hey, yo.
Oh.
I love this. Okay, hang on. I love this shot so much. Like, the detail put into, like, her... I mean, primarily her mouth, right? Like, you can see the more... So obviously when they're far away, it's just like... You know, maybe like a line to indicate where the lips are, right? But, like... they added like a slight like pinkish shading to it. I mean, it's I'm kind of, I don't know what color that. I guess that's I think that's pinkish. And like the dimple, like kind of like dip under the lip. I like the curvature of her. I don't know. There's a lot of detail to like her image here. That's I really like. Zaki, he finished with a hushed voice. For one of them, this was a rather mundane magecraft. For the other, it was a head-spinning sneak attack of intimacy. Okay, yeah, no, okay. I believed him before when he said it wasn't a like liking her in that way thing. I think it's gonna end up becoming that though. I don't know.
軽く弱くうまく早く。
Okay.
チクタクチクタク、急げや急げ。
Okay. Words that cannot be produced by a normal larynx, carrying a peculiar weight to them, reverberated against his eardrums. If words were given colors, these would have been the color of her name, blue. Sojro's exhausted body and burning blood gently cooled. Oh, what does this like give him an increased stamina or something?
飛ぶ、泳ぐ、駆け抜ける。チクタクチクタク、汽笛を鳴らせ。
Huh.
星はいつでも北の空。どこまでも、いつまでも。
In reality, it took but a few seconds. But the sudden contact had felt a little longer until it ended.
よし、暗示成功。成功したはず。ここまで手応えがあったの初めてだし。
Okay.
アリスの小言もたまには役に立つじゃない。
Yeah, I guess so. A very merry Aoko stood aside a very confused Sojiro. After he asked what the heck had occurred, she responded.
簡単な暗示よ。一時的に恐怖心を消しておいたから、高いところに登っても平気なはず。
Oh. Yeah, no, I guess it makes sense. It cools his... Okay, yeah, no. Because, yeah, if he's scared, obviously he'd be, like, broken out into, like, a cold sweat and, like, his blood would... Yeah, okay, no, I guess that makes sense for what he said before, or what he thought before. Huh.
あの手の作業で一番足を引っ張るのは同様でしょ？
Yeah.
恐怖も何も感じなければ、地上何メートルだろうと、平均台とそう変わらないってわけ。
Okay, but how long does it last, though? Because, like, if it runs out, like, in 10 minutes, right, it's pretty much about to run out for him in, like, real time. Where he's at currently, so... You know... Hopefully it's, like, a 30-minute thing and not 10. He's like, what? He seemed to get it. It actually all sounded like Greek to Sojiro, but he accepted it as an explanation of her strange actions. Oh yeah? Okay. He'd arrived at the summit of the track. At a height of nearly 200 feet, Sojiro had a bird's-eye view of the entire amusement park. He was able to spot AOKO'S figure right away. In the plaza, not so far from here, she seemed to be occupied with something conspicuous. Her surroundings lay still. The bread men were still busy trying to figure out how to reach Sojiro by trial and error from the roller coaster's entrance. They had over 300 feet of distance to cover.
汗をかくはずだ。こんなに移動したのか。
The strong winter gales quickly dried the sweat on his brow, but he was drenched underneath his shirt. This much sweat was worth at least a half-mile run, not to mention all the scares he'd experienced throughout the night.
でもよかった。あとは合図を待つだけだ。
He felt a wave of relief, but not the thought of AOKO destroying the Snark in this nightmarish park. He was simply happy that he could repay a bit of his debt from the House of Mirrors. I think that's a signal. A blue bullet rose from the plaza where AOKO is located.
合図だ。
Sojiro stood atop the tracks, pulled out the pouch he'd stowed in his pocket, and tossed it forward. Without any regard for his questionable footing, he gave it a mighty overarm pitch. The small pouch drew a parabolic curve in AOKO'S direction, quickly becoming untied in midair. Inside the back bag was the lock of her hair and a small stone weight.
高いところから風に乗せてくれれば、あとは何とかするから。
Aoko had said, but it was Sojro's effort that had set the plan in motion. The tuft of hair remained airborne, drifting as if watching over its owner. Buddy? Sojro's job was done. You might want to look. His remained concern about the egg hovering over him. His concern remained about the egg hovering over him, but there was nothing he could do about it. Sojro breathed a sigh of relief and leaned forward to watch the rest of the plan unfold. But then...
Mumu?
Uh-oh. In the corner of his eye, he thought he spotted something familiar approaching Aoko.
Route set. Direct. 1層、2層、予備に3層。
Man, this entire like Kitsuland arc has been just so fucking beautiful to look at. Sorry, I'm not.
魔力提供、体現に固定。循環よし、射角よし、術式安定、大まかよし。
Pattern began to carve itself into the brick street. The casting of an unprecedented incantation with unprecedented range. Keeping the rising tension contained within her chest, the fledgling mage snapped her fingers.
決めた。ツアープラン、スターマイン。
She kneeled at the center of the formula and raised her head to the night sky. Not even a glimpse of the transmogrified fantasy land around her entered her vision now. Only one thing, one untouchable thing was reflected in her blue eyes.
実はずっと気になっていたことが。
This is how the conversation started a few minutes prior. Okay, we're finally gonna get my confirmation on if it's a Ferris wheel or not. Sojro began with a simple statement of fact. In truth, it really was the simplest of discrepancies. Between the reality of an hour ago and the illusion of the present, a difference both infinitesimal and infinite at the same time.
雲があったから勘違いしたんだろうけど。
Uh-huh. It was something hiding in plain sight. Something both seemingly impossible in reality and unusual given its location. In this amusement park where every paradigm had shifted, something was brazenly flaunting its normalcy.
今夜は新月なんだ、青崎。
It wasn't the Ferris wheel. Huh. I could have sworn it was the Ferris wheel, right? Because, like, my thinking for that was, like, it was so... that the Ferris wheel was brazenly obvious. Like, in terms of, like, it standing out. And so, like, it'd be hiding in plain sight, but... which, to me, that makes a lot more sense than the moon, right? How the fuck is it affecting the moon? I don't know. It's okay, whatever. But yeah, no, that took me off guard.
思えば初めっからその形だったものね、あんたは。
The distance from the Earth to the Moon was 238,900 miles. If it truly was identical to the actual moon, then this monster indeed lived up to its eerie reputation. A distance that far would have meant it had no need to hide its form. It could flaunt its true form in front of all. Yeah? But due to the very fact that it was hiding its true form, it meant it must have been within reach. Yeah, it's probably like the moon, but it's like just hovering in front of where the moon would. I don't know. I have no idea how it would work. That monster's camouflage implied that it sat within the reach of human hands.
こっちの最大射程はよくて600ってところだけど。
At this point, it was time to give it all she had. Watch it be like 655 meters or yards. 655 yards, that would be unfortunate. At this point, it was time to give it all she had. Drawing on the energy surging throughout the park, she extended her firing arm. A blue firework launched into the air. Oh, she's gonna use her hair as an actual, like she's gonna shoot her hair, and then the hair will, like, give extra range? Maybe? I don't know how it would do that, but that would make sense, maybe? Perhaps? Looking up at her hair dancing in the wind above, Aoko reached out her right hand as if to catch the night sky. A mage's own body made for the perfect catalyst. And for a female mage, the hair she had grown out over many years made for a particularly valuable and powerful source of fuel. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's been mentioned, like, multiple, in, like, Fate. Rin mentioned it. To use it, all she had to do was apply her will. She locked the fingers on both her hands together and shouted,
三層展開全術式連結起動
She hurled forth a clear challenge to bind the moon to herself. The mist began to whirl about in the vortex. The monster high above bore its fangs beside of the blue spell that appeared in midair.
見抜かれたですって
Yeah, I weren't expecting that, huh, Alice? By the time Alice noticed the change, the hostility between Aoko and the Snark was palpable.
そうなら青子の勝ちにすぐに戻りなさい
I don't think it's gonna listen to you. I think it's gonna continue trying to fight.
確かに雨雲を消したのはヒントの上げすぎだけどそれぐらいは多めに見てスナーク
The fog continued to thicken with no sign of abating. Yeah, maybe you shouldn't use something that doesn't fully listen to you. Just a thought. The moon that floated in the night sky cannot pardon such an insolent mage. As if the Lord of the Night would bow down to such impudence. There was no staying its wrath at a challenge so flagrant.
スナーク
The robin swooped in to give its report, but Alice waved it away. Her gaze was fixed on the transforming golden moon. Her calls of restraint did not reach it. This fairy tale monster was beholden to nobody, and it would have no qualms unleashing its vast might upon its puny prey. Yeah, again, maybe you should only use things that actually listen to you. Just a thought. The core of her magic bullet howled. The magic circuits within her body spun. Aoko fed them magical energy, scorching her nerves with imaginary flame. She was linked to the formula inscribed on the ground. The spell was read and executed the same as it always was, but its output was beyond reckoning. With this much firepower, even this mundane process would invite injury upon its caster. It was enough to burn up the nerves that were acting as the barrel.
でもいける
The imaginary heat had reached a terrifying temperature. Aoko trembled at this endless feeling, but would have to grin and bear it lest their efforts come to naught. Aoko could no longer move. When she had learned the Snark's true form from Sojiro, she gave up on any superiority a movable turret offered, instead opting to become a stationary cannon. That was the only way she could reach it. It was impossible to hunt the Snark unless she anchored her crest at this location and angle. At the same time, this action revealed that she was out of options. Once the fuse was lit, she would have no choice but to fight to the bitter end. Aoko took a deep breath. This was the way she wanted it. Her preparations were complete. She would be able to deliver this maelstrom of magical energy directly to the moon like a rocket payload. The third layer floating in midair served as the cannon's muzzle in sight. It would fire the magical energy once it reached its criticality, and it allowed Aoko to adjust to the angle of fire. The moon became warped within her scope. Ooh. As Aoko charged her magical energy, the ploy displayed its golden form as if to mock her. Come, worship the heavens, powerless scion of an innocent bloodline. For there it was, a point among the otherworldly sky, a mystical visage obfuscated by jade mists and desert clouds, called the greatest treasure known to the world of magecraft. A rarity more valuable than an entire kingdom, Crown Phantasm. That's fucking terrifying. It's like an upside down skull. Set apart from the very beginning, the world's greatest fabrication. Her instincts screamed at her to delay no further. This fairy tale monster was the greatest of its kind, and its true form was about to be exposed. Its open hostility indicated that it was making preparations for a counterattack. She had to shoot it down first. Magical energy was at 80%. The formula was operating normally. All that was left was to pull the trigger, but the calm voice inside her head asked if that was really okay. She had one shot at this, and there was no going back. It was a battle of precision with no room for miscalculations. Even a tenth of a second of hesitation would tip the scales. Was she ready for the pain? Was she ready to deal with the fallout if she missed? Could she really even take down the moon with such a tiny bullet in the first place? I don't know. Her eyes fixed upon the moon were filled with determination, and an awareness that the moment she fired, the intense recoil would overwhelm her entire body. She shouted. With every ounce of spirit she possessed, she fired her ultra-long-range projectile into the sky. The third layer embraced the magic bullet fired from the surface of the Earth. The crest, an extension of AOKO'S self, unleashed light to pierce the moon. However, an enormous blue canopy pulverized the beam. It returned the ether, that 3,000-degree flame, to nothing as it came in contact with the bullet. The recoil of the Grand Magecraft literally boiled her blood. Her body couldn't handle it. Her heart stopped. Her brain went numb from the pain and impact. Her nerves putrefied from end to end. But her magic crest revived them all by force. Even though her vision had gone white, she could still see it. Swallowing the blood in her mouth, AOKO looked up with a scowl. There it was, an enormous shield of ice and a sneering, deformed skull. I don't know, AOKO. There was no time to think or hesitate. The magical energy throughout the park began to gather. AOKO knelt, across from the tyrannical face of the moon. AOKO intuited that the ice had yet to fully form. Flat Snark still hadn't reached its full strength. Which was exactly why. By accelerating the spell, AOKO had damaged her own body. AOKO sat up and braced herself for the pain caused by the load. AOKO sat up and braced herself for the pain caused by the load placed on the formula after linking with the Snark. All she could do was endure it. All because... That's not good. AOKO had gotten a read on their relative strengths. Even if its volume of magical energy was identical, Snark's form, its mystic, was in a different league. Even if AOKO charged her energy to her absolute limit, she would barely make a dent in the ice wall. Meaning, if the Snark had gathered as much energy as it could, there was nothing she could do to prevent her annihilation. She loaded her next shot. She issued orders to the floating third layer. Ignoring the toll on her body, she began to accelerate the first layer formula. The roll of her right hand's single layer was to absorb and store surrounding magical energy. The thick fog that drifted through the park was an ancient ether spewed out by Flat Snark's own body, but AOKO could pour it into a formula. AOKO'S body, which integrated with the formula, took on an amount of magical energy that far surpassed its maximum capacity. It seethed in agony. Or rather, it trembled in delight. For a mage, magical energy was propellant to reach the realm of mystics. The expansion of internal time. The liquefaction of the self. The release from the physical. What one might call a near-death experience. AOKO stood face to face with reality on the boundary between it and such concepts. And that reality was here to break her will. To any bystander, the gap between them would be plain to see. The gun barrel named AOKO Awazaki. She had not a chance to chip away at that lump of ice. She accelerated the spell further. The skull grinned. That ice was no shield. It was something to be used to crush mages who did not know their place. The moon laughed as it prepared to crush not just Aoko, but the boy atop the roller coaster as well as the park in its entirety. The circuits were on the verge of going critical. Her body had been charged with a scorching power supply from her fingertips to her eyeballs. She would see to it that the bullet fired. That the Magecraft formula would be strengthened as quickly as her nerve's transmission speed would allow. A single attack was not enough. There was no way to shoot it from its flank, which meant there was only one solution. Rapid fire? The third layer began to transform. It switched from direct to alternating current. The spell's supposed strong point was its ability to adjust its trajectory mid-flight. But right now, all she wanted was numbers. A blue sun shined down upon an amusement park. Okay, this is gonna sound really weird. This reminds me of Goku vs. Vegeta in Season 1. Y'all know what I'm talking about? When Vegeta fires the Galactic gun down at Goku who's on the ground, Goku fires back. I don't know. That's what this reminds me of. Beams of light at maximum output streaked forth to pierce the golden moon. Oh, it got through? Or no? No, it was just, or wait, what? It's chipping away. Oh god, it's bright. Holding down the trigger, she continued to fire, taking in energy at it ad infinitum. Yeah. Wait, what about the thing that... So Sojiro said something was coming up to her side. It is... What? Blue flames shot forth at critical level. But the ice would neither melt nor mar. No amount of sheer heat could make a dent in something formed from such a colossal amount of magical energy. The toll on her circuits sent them berserk, and blood began to run free. The battle had become a tussle over the magical energy that filled the park. From the very beginning, this had been the Snark's home turf. The Snark had control over at least 80% of the space, while Aoko had 20 at best. Don't say that, you can do it! Or not. The Castle of Ice descended as if to call the match. All she could do was delay the inevitable. She knew that she'd been backed into a wall, and right now the only thing she could do was to keep firing. Then again, perhaps not. There was another option. If she converted all of her magical energy into a defense, there was a tiny chance, no, not tiny, A great possibility, in fact, that she could save just her.
うるさい。ここの魔力を使い切ればあの氷だって。
Clinging to that broken hope, Aoko continued to rotate her circuits. Yeah, I can't blame her for wanting to abandon Sojiro here and just protect herself. I would do the same. Time seemed to stop at the magical energy overdose. A second of intense pain lasted an eternity. Then, amidst everything... What? Isn't that the image of herself she saw in the House of Mirrors? Like when she was... Like, I guess dividing all the possibilities of how her encounter with the puppet would go? Or... am I thinking of something else? Something approached one step at a time. Something from among the park's shadows. Something. She felt goosebumps from head to toe. The issue was no longer the ice overhead. In the midst of the stillness, the Red Death drew closer, step by ominous step. What? Her circuits and her mind began to rupture out of terror. The composition of her formula and soul began to rip apart. There it was, just behind her. Its footsteps came to a halt. It reached around and cupped her face in its blood-stained hands.
Konnichiwa.
Hey, yeah, konnichiwa. What's up? Oh, okay. Whatever it is, Aoko's terrified of it. She wanted to scream out with all her might. This is it. Nothing matters. I couldn't care less. Run or don't run, it doesn't matter. Quit hiding and reveal yourself. Use whatever you can and show no mercy. That was it. She had one final card to play. A miracle that would treat that ice like nothing more than a toy, gifted to her as a mere amusement. Okay. That was what the Red Death had come to kill. Using it would spell ruin. And not using it would mean death by ice. But why would Aoko hesitate? I don't know. There were no conditions limiting her. There would be no price to pay by employing it here. She simply would cease to be herself. Okay, I'm not gonna question it. I hope the game will tell us what this is at some point. That was all. Humans love to exist in areas of gray. Dozens of electrical impulses disconnect the brain every minute. Or disconnect in the brain every minute. Nothing lasts forever. Not even oneself. It wasn't anything particularly worthy of disdain. It wasn't even anything remarkably worthy of being called taboo. Okay. What escaped her lips now was rage. Bewilderment from the red silhouette. The girl let out an inaudible scream. Could true magic truly be her savior? What an opportunistic load of bull. Okay. After all, to begin with. The fuck? Yeah, okay, true. Then okay, but then why was the option there? I guess that gave credence to like the whole she would cease to be herself, because it wouldn't be her doing it. Maybe. Indeed, Aoko was still in the dark when it came to that magic, whatever it was. So just like, what the fuck? Yeah, you are? Question mark? I don't... She woke from her momentary hallucination. The very illusion her breaking soul had shown her. Whining had the opposite effect on her. Her pride was now ablaze.
逃げるのか
Sojiro was right. Her opponent had put her in check, but she had done the same to it. It was clear why she was losing. So now all she needed was a counter plan, well within her abilities. No matter the odds, she was not one to give up without giving it one last shot. Her numbed fingers clenched into a tight fist. She was betting against the house, an unreasonable gamble that should have made her question her sanity. If her first step was off by an inch, her body would be instantly vaporized. That's not good. Well, I guess just don't miss the first step then. But she knew a boy who never fled. She knew of a steadfast courage that could shine its light, no matter how small, through any desperate situation. Yes, there was more than just herself to be concerned about. If that ice fell, it would mean the destruction of the park in its entirety. Everything he had achieved, everything he had risked and dared and happily put his life on the line for would all be for naught.
それじゃあ何のために意地を張ったかわからない。
I don't fucking know. Determination and confidence surged through her like electricity. She was in no mood to be crushed by a giant sheet of ice. Yeah, neither am I, to be honest. If she was going to lose, she'd rather do so as the grandest firework possible. Aoko was a sore loser. At this point, she'd rather burn herself to cinders than let it decide her end. She grunted in pain. Energy raged through her body. Her circuits were on the verge of disintegration. Inscribed upon her body, her magic crest was magecraft given physical form. It did not, however, stop with simply skin and flesh. It burrowed to the very marrow of her bones. A playful smile graced her lips. Her sense of reason had been turned upside down by the pain. That was only natural. Heck yeah, you can! She had to praise her own body for holding out so long when pushed beyond its limits. The skull face noticed the abnormality. It finally recognized the challenge for dominance over the space. It laughed at the conceit it faced. Never did it expect the magician to challenge the great flat snark, lord of vessels over a millennium, and in such an age of decline. She tried to catch her breath. She braced herself for the coming pain. She was going to smash that ice to pieces. Both had access to the same amount of magical energy. One of them was greatly outmatched, but
出力装置に差があった。魔力の吸引、方針の規模で負けているのなら、単純な話、私をでかくするだけでいい。
okay, how are you gonna do that? Like, the formula is one thing, but the feedback would go beyond anything she'd experienced to date. That is... I feel like that should be beyond what she's capable of doing, right? Because she's pretty much a novice. But you know, if it works, it works. I guess it can. Okay. Feedback would go beyond anything she'd experienced to date. Quite simply, her decision went beyond reckless. She expanded both formulae to maximum size. The first layer would transform into a giant vortex, swallowing up the mist. The second layer would process it from one end and pump it into her, the barrel.
私の想定が甘かった。撃ち落とすなんて半端もいいとこ。この場合、跡形もなく打ち砕くった。
Responded in concert with her conviction. It formed the pattern of a writhing serpent. Voiceless magical power flying the banner of revolution. She beckoned the great power of old to feast his eyes upon the land. For it was the first of the trailblazers. The representative of a mankind that knew no fear and would rend all manner of mythic to naught.
貸し借りはここまでよ、嘘つきブーちゃん。お望み通り、のしをつけて返してあげる。
For the newest magician commanded the principles of consumption and extinction. An aberrant bolt of light melted through the castle of ice. Her barrel was tempered. Her control of magical energy was divine. Her veins, totaling 62,000 miles in length, or 2.5 times the circumference of the equator, accepted the flow of magical energy with avarice. The subsequent magical bullet swiftly flew straight into the moon. No! Death rose to the surface of the moon. A cry of terror, of indignation echoed through the abandoned park. Reality was burned into the eyes of this creature of fantasy. As Aoko looked upon its vain attempt to struggle, she knew she had tasted victory. Victory despite her absolute reckless use of magical energy. The energy scales had been tipped to the breaking point, but nevertheless in her favor. From incantations to fucking tear a new one. Okay, I thought it backfired for a second. I was like, shatter, 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 shatter. The skyscraper scattered into atomized dust. The island, its unattainability extolled, had swallowed whole the despair of its many challengers. And that which remained of this once proud thing that boasted of its untouchable knowledge, or untouched knowledge, azure mist bemoaned its demise. The ice canopy in the sky crumbled. The snark-hunting bullet jumped over the moon. Its throes of death sounded like the roaring sea, reverberating across this fairy tale land. Battle was over. The thick fog dissipated, and the shattered ice melted away before it hit the ground. A lethal bullet had topped the Night King along with his throne, affording him no time to grieve his loss. The oil of the moon. The untouched flat snark. The dreamscape that had begun with its resurrection ended with its demise, drawing a close to this nightmare. Alice is probably like, what the fuck? In a possible good way, though. A good what the fuck.
うわ、さすがに無茶だわ。
Oh yeah, you're gonna pass out for sure. Flat on her back, Aoko looked up at the night sky. She lay there perfectly still, not able to move a single finger. When she tried, her whole body screamed out in agony. She was completely empty of magical energy, and her magic crest to come to a halt. She estimated that it would likely require a whole day to recover all her bodily functions. That's honestly impressive that it'd only be a day. Sadly, all she could really do in that moment was take a breath. At least her chest was swelling with pride. Yeah, there's that. She had gone toe-to-toe with a fairy tale monster and had emerged victorious. The battlefield conditions had favored her, it was true, but there was no denying that Aoko had come a long way in the last 6 months.
それはそれとして、アリスには謝っとかないと。
Yeah, destroyed another one of her familiars.
黒いって壊したらそれっきりだものね。
Flat Snark would never again return to this world. It was an insanely rare item, so invaluable that it would have been impossible to price it for auction at the Association in London. Aoko had sent Alice's priceless treasure of the magecraft world to oblivion. Needless to say, things had gotten a little more than a little out of hand. Yeah, a little bit.
まあ、でも。
Or more than a little bit. They had both agreed to the fight, so Alice probably wouldn't complain. Yeah, probably. Even if she was furious, she would never be so undignified as to show it. You good? The second Aoko relaxed, her fatigue finally caught up with her. She did everything in her power to fight off the overwhelming drowsiness. Aside from a few minor internal injuries. Okay, some minor internal injuries, as if you could classify any internal injuries as minor. Okay. Her body was miraculously unscathed. So much so she felt that she could probably stand up and dust herself off after a bit of rest. Right. The golden moon continued to burn in the night sky.
正体は油だものね。そりゃいつまでも燃え。
What? Aoko's bleary eyes went wide in astonishment. She was still unable to lift a finger.
そっか。スナークを見つけたベイカーも最後は一緒に消えるんだっけ。
Wait. Wait. That's... So, is it gonna... Oh, it's gonna kill her along with it. Or it's gonna try to. Probably. She sighed in resignation. Aoko accepted that her final stand left her with only 10 seconds before she burned to ash too. Elsewhere, just a moment prior, buffeted by strong winds atop the roller coaster, Sojiro gravely peered down at the ground.
Mumu?
All he could muster was a single murmur. He could see Aoko on top of some drawing on the ground and...
なんだあれ。いくらなんでも頑丈すぎないか。
In the distance, there was something familiar in the direction of the ruined House of Mirrors. Oh! Oh, fuck no, that's not good! Sojiro's job. Wait. Okay, why are you talking about this? Wait, no. You gotta get the fuck down there and do something, buddy. Sojiro's job to throw Aoko's hair from a great height was complete. Well, not the most impressive of tasks, it was absolutely a matter of life or death. And to top it all off, just thinking about how he was going to get back down to the ground was making him dizzy. He'd experienced more than enough trouble for one day. Fair.
いや、でも、あれ。
He was flustered as he stood atop the swaying bridge. Wait, so this was before the whole... Okay. A skull suddenly appeared in the sky above. On the ground, you could see a circling blue light with Aoko Ozaki in the middle of it. And one more thing. A shadow was approaching Aoko that only someone from his vantage point could see. A shadow missing the lower half of its body. Okay. At least it's not whole. That's good. Right? The upper half of its body was slowly clawing its way to Aoko. It was still over 600 feet apart. Unfortunately for Aoko, she completely failed to notice it approaching from behind.
遠くて見えないけど、あれは
Yeah. He was sure of what it was now. There was only one thing in the park that would chase Aoko and not him. The puppet.
いや、でも、ほら、あるいは、ひょっとして、ただの偶然ではないだろうか。
I don't know about that. His mind ran in circles. It was a perfectly reasonable reaction. Right. Any grip on reality you might have had left was long lost when Aoko started firing beams of light at the monstrous moon. Fair. Just like, what the fuck? Aoko's merciless fire buffeted the roller coaster like a storm. Just standing on it was almost enough for him to be thrown off and killed. At any rate, Sojiro couldn't fathom the situation. Should he head back to the entrance of the roller coaster and warn Aoko about the incoming threat? No, there was no way he would make it in time. And to make matters worse, there was a horde of bread down there waiting for him. Okay, yeah, that's a good point. And it may very well have been the case that Aoko was already aware of the puppet and would take it out as soon as it got closer. If she was, Sojiro was sure he would only be in the way. Yeah. But it didn't seem like there was anything he could do to help. And beyond that, Aoko wasn't the only one in danger. He was in quite the predicament himself. You can't go home again. The road home was never as safe as one thought. It was as true here as it had been in the mountains. The path he was on was no exception. As risky as the ascent had been, it was even more dangerous to go back down. This was no time to be worrying about others. His shaking legs reminded him that only 200 feet separated him from death.
大丈夫。それは分かっている。けど。
Uh-huh. His head was pounding. This was reckless and stupid. Yeah. Having been raised in the mountains, he was more sensitive to danger than anyone raised in the city. And just thinking about what he was about to do made his throat seize up. There was only one thing he could say for sure.
青崎のことだ。あれに絶対気づいていない。
Okay. Okay, he got his cojones back. Good. With a sobbing shout, Sojiro started making his way down the 200-foot frame of the roller coaster. Bro, the fact, like, even if the fucking... No, the charm can't even be working anymore, right? Because he was even debating the fact that going back down would be dangerous. So, like, alright, so I assume it's not working anymore, but if it's not, he, in full fear, is running down, like, steep-ass, like, roller coaster fucking dips, while getting buffeted by winds from the ice and the fucking beam of light colliding into each other. Like... I got hip it, you know? That is just typical, to be honest. His race toward death accelerated. He never meant to speed up, but the downward slope propelled him forward. You got it, man. Oh boy. It was too late for regrets. Now that he was running, he had no choice but to go even faster. And time was not on his side. Bro, that is steep as fuck, by the way. Good lord. Like, how is he not just falling over? He never would have made it in time if he'd taken the long way down. Never mind the bread men crowding the exit of the roller coaster. With the exits blocked, the outcome would be the same whether he went slowly or quickly. There was no reason to rush to his death as desperately as he did. So what if it was futile? Sojiro cleared the doubts from his mind. He turned his attention to what he could do. Keep his footing and tried to arrive at the bottom as quickly as he could.
間違えるな。今大事なのは間に合うとか助けられるとかそういう結果の話じゃなくて。
He had no idea what impulses were driving his stiff limbs. He just focused on the moment, pushing past the fear and the cold logic. At his core, he was the kind of person to deal with problems head on. There would be time to think about the consequences later. But hesitation was not his only obstacle.
こんな時に
The worst possible hindrance appeared at a time when not focusing on the track would mean certain death. Bruh, Alice, could you call this thing off, please? We're kind of busy. Sojiro sensed something wrong with the egg he'd been so studiously observing out of one eye. Something had changed. And at the very moment he realized it,
よそ見してる場合じゃない。
yeah. Sojiro stumbled, then instinctively caught himself. It was a miracle he hadn't fallen. Descending a roller coaster on foot was an act of suicide. The egg stayed right by his side, so close it was likely it would collide with him. Or it would collide with him. Though he was trying as hard as he could not to look at it, he couldn't help but feel unease that the door-like decoration in its center was gradually opening.
もうちくしょうなんだってこんな
Because it doesn't care about anything else other than murdering you, I guess. He cursed his rotten situation. And yet he refused to slow down. He ran even faster, glaring at the egg on his side.
本当おかしいこんな状況なのになんで
Sojiro was baffled to find that he was smiling. Perhaps it had something to do with AOKO'S charm. Sojiro couldn't tell one way or the other. He could still feel AOKO'S fingers on his skin. The trust and expectation she had placed in him was etched into his heart. But what spurred him on was something entirely different. This all stemmed from a much deeper problem. It was something inside him that he couldn't understand at the time, but would eventually come to terms with one day. Okay.
よし距離は今なら2メートル弱
Oh, that was quick. He carefully judged the distance as he ran down the track of death. But the distance between what? That went without saying. It was the distance between himself and the one thing that could save his life. Is he gonna jump on the egg? No, right? No, I'm dumb. Right? He told himself he was going to do it over and over like a mantra. Sojiro couldn't believe himself. What he was about to do was incredibly stupid. But what's stupid when smart isn't an option? That's a good fucking point!
本当なんでそこまでやるんだ
Amidst it all, he laughed at how pointless such self-reflection was now. Temporary confusion, a psychological thrill ride, both had laid his soul bare. What really mattered? But a simple man gets by without deep thought. Sojiro's primitive mind did not crave success or reward. For him, it was simple.
Yes.
He was doing it because he wanted to. You know what? Good reason, man. Not because he felt obliged to those around him. His desire to live his way was his and his own.
行こう
Huh? If the egg had been equipped with a vocal function, it would have gasped in shock at what happened next. He totally jumped on the egg. The boy, who had only tried to escape up until this point, suddenly shifted his weight. He pointed his feet outward instead of inward. On the edge of one rail, he crouched ever so slightly to maintain momentum and gazed at the floating egg.
やれる距離的に問題はない
Okay. Okay. Yeah. What the fuck? This is quite dramatic. He soared through the night sky. It was a flight that lasted a mere 1.5 seconds. A cordless bungee jump from 100 feet above ground. His destination. The egg. The only thing that would stop his fall. The giant flying egg. Okay. I mean, he made it. He made the egg. He shrieked, this time out of elation as he desperately clung to the egg's surface. Just earlier, the cold-blooded witch told him that without fear, the top of a building would feel no different than a balance beam. This from the same witch that would have been left speechless had she witnessed the spectacle. Yeah. Fearlessness was one thing, recklessness was another. He followed it up with an act that would irritate her for days to come. I'm relying on you, egg! Clinging to the egg, he shifted his gaze away from it. He felt the rapid descent. Isn't he gonna explode? Didn't Alice say if it exploded, it would, or if it hit the ground, it would explode? I think she said something like that, right? Okay. Sojiro, focusing his half-shut eyes on the ground, leaped off the egg once they were a few feet from the ground, then turned back to it, careful to re-establish eye contact. Something so unbelievable, though, to Sojiro. The elevator at the department store and the mysterious floating egg were both just moving objects, virtually indistinguishable from one another. But... okay.
よし、割れてない。食べ物を粗末にするのは良くないと思う。
I don't think you want to eat this egg, Sojiro. Okay. He landed near the plaza. The shortcut that almost cost him his life, it paid off. Sojiro took off running the second his feet touched the ground. The puppet after Aoko is the only thing on his mind. He paid no mind to the moonlight in the sky. Or the egg, furious about being used and seconds away from self-destructing and blasting fragments all over the place.
Aozaki!
Nanu?
Wait, weren't you on the ground? Aoko's dumbfounded expression spurred Sojiro on. The curse was complete. The empty egg began to sing its warning to let them know there was no escape. Ow! Shrapnel from the egg exploded through the air. The ode to Queen Alice that Alice had engraved into Dumpty quickly robbed him of his senses.
それはそれとして。
Was that it? What? He snapped back to the task at hand and ran to Aoko, still lying on the ground. His legs ran of their own accord. Though he couldn't have ever stopped them anyway, since he could no longer feel them. How is he moving his body if he can't feel it?
お前、驚くほどしつこいぞ。
Apparently not. I'm sorry? I just saw Aoko get speared, didn't I? What? Huh? The scrambled murder kit. I'm gonna assume. I mean, we're gonna see what's happening. We get. It's gonna show us what happened. But I don't know. No matter what happens next, I 100% saw Aozaki get speared by these beams of light. So, explain, game. The scrambled murder case. Piles of rubble became flowers of light blooming from the earth. Oh, no, it speared the puppet. Okay. I'm pretty sure I thought I saw a human limb be flung up as it was stabbed, but I close enough, I guess. The final curtain drew closed, and the defeated left the battleground. She's gonna smack him. Like, I mean, maybe not. He did it to save her life, so. But still, he's holding her in a very precarious position. Had Alice Quonji seen it up close, it would have left her beside herself. The two had escaped by hair's breadth. The only person in a position to witness that rare mutual destruction was the girl who had been saved from it. The boy who had never stopped running paid it no mind. But she wasn't, thanks to you, buddy. The safety of the girl in his arms meant infinitely more to him than the miraculous way in which he saved her. Oh. That was cute. I want to know what Alice has to say about all this, because like she wanted the snark to stop, but then it didn't, and then Aoko beat it on her own, and then you know she's gotta give him some leeway after this, right? The moon did not wait for dawn to set. The ornamental texture of the fairy tale kingdom faded away. All of the illusions returned to the way they were before. From the ostentatious chords reverberating throughout through the streets, to the puppets welcoming their guests. Peace and quiet reigned once more, over a forgotten kingdom never to be awakened again. Out flickered the embers of a late-night dream. Even the electric lamps that illuminated the park. Together they watched it disappear. Sojiro lay on the ground, desperately gasping for air like a fish out of water. The curse of the exploding egg had numbed his pain, and he was understandably exhausted after all he had experienced. He looked like he could be blown away by the lightest of breezes. It looks to me like he has shrapnel sticking out of his leg right there. Which, yeah, he needs a hospital. Well, Aoko was also exhausted. She was still in better shape. Focused on taking deep, even breaths, she was already working to recover her strength. Yeah? She addressed Sojiro indifferently as her gaze remained on the amusement park. The abruptness of it was a bit theatrical in nature. She wanted to look at him as she spoke, but her pride was simply too great.
Kinda.
Yeah, kinda amazing. just a little bit. The moment she had accepted death, it seemed like an eternity. She was beside herself in shock at how indifferent she had been as the shards rained down from the moon. But a reassuring voice had snapped her back into reality. Why did he do it? What was he thinking? What moronic things did he have to do to pull it off? Wow, he saves your life and you're like, what kind of fucking dumbass shit did he do? So rude. She had no answers for these questions. Lying on the ground as she was, all she knew was that he had more than made up for his failure in the House of Mirrors and then some, in those fateful final moments. Yeah, I would think so. She addressed him hoping to find answers, but found herself unable to probe any further. To dig any deeper would feel like defeat, which is why it was so unlike her to ask him in the first place. Lucky for her, Sojiro had neither the capacity nor sensitivity to understand how egocentric she was being. Yeah.
すごいって、それは青崎の方だろ。
Yeah? Yeah, she was! He stuttered between labored breaths. It was taking him so much effort just to breathe that he couldn't address her properly. Yeah, Ozaki? She watched him out of the corner of her eye. Thinking back on it, the boy had performed the same role each time. Each and every time he did what he could in spite of his fecklessness. Is that supposed to be recklessness, or... No, I know feckle is a word. So I'm assuming that's based off that, right? Feckless. Lacking initiative or strength of character. Irresponsible. Wow! I don't think he's... I mean... Lacking strength of character in the sense that he's not a very, like... how do I put it? He's not a... He doesn't have, like, a strong, like, personality that he, like, enforces his, like, own will, I guess? I don't know. It seems harsh. But... it was far more admirable than her nearly suicidal tactics, even if she did defeat her opponent. He didn't even recognize how extraordinary his last act of courage was.
提案、あいつをやっつけるのに協力したら、俺のことは見逃してくれる？
At the very least, he had the courage to keep trying whatever he could. A spectator might have viewed him as a supporting actor. His actions weren't exactly memorable. Sure. I would disagree, but okay. But the lead actress he supported did not see it that way.
まあね、認めたくないし、口になんてもっとしたくないけど。
Such inspired actions were wasted in a supporting role. This guy really pulled off the impossible. It was so amazing that she wanted to shout it as loud as she possibly could for all the world to hear. Are you gonna let him live now? Like in the long run?
ほんと、人畜無害のどうすぎると侮れないわ。
Wow. All Aoko could do was sigh. How could she not? Even she was forced to admit that the way he'd snatched her from the jaws of death was... dashing. Okay.
ま、評価、甘めだけど。
Maybe a little bit. Just a little bit. Truth be told, he was a lunatic for doing what he did. Yeah, maybe. Where's Alice at? Do you think she would come and, like, at least say something? Maybe? Whatever. She steadied her breathing and composed herself. She was in bad shape, and she had her pride as a mage to consider. Which was why she needed to maintain an air of dignity when making a proclamation. Right, of course.
しずきくん、見逃すのは今日だけって話だったけど、あれ、なしでいいわ。
Thanks? What's the catch, though?
とりあえず命は助けてあげるから。
Thanks. Again, what's the catch? She hastily extended her right hand. It was either to shake his or to help him up. However, Sojiro did not take her hand, but instead stood up on his own. This night, despite the sheer insanity that he had just experienced, his face had not once looked as incredulous as it did now.
何そのリアクションは。
She stammered, worried that she had deeply embarrassed herself. Sojiro's gaze was fixed upon Aoko. She's like, what the fuck are you looking at? A problem had dawned on Aoko. Though she normally hated being stared at, this time she didn't mind. Okay? Rather, she was enjoying the warmth in his eyes, and felt like it was something she could almost come to appreciate. Okay, okay. Don't you get it? This isn't just about friendship, and I didn't mean he only likes you either. Believe me when I say that Sonoji really... Uh-huh. The conversation came rushing back. But okay, that conversation between him and Sojiro, though, that was a misunderstanding. Like, okay, well, that's yeah. That's gonna cause some more problems, huh? The conversation came rushing back. It was a memory better left forgotten.
いかん、それは違う。
Right? Sure. Pushing Tobimaru's words out of her mind, Aoko turned to Sojiro.
それとこれは別だから。私はあんたのこととか、ほんとどうでもいいんだから。
Right, of course, totally. I believe that. Puzzled, Sojiro tilted his head. I don't think you'd get this flustered if you didn't. So, you know, it's...
さっき嫌いだって言われたけど。
He responded matter-of-factly to her sudden declaration. But now she can't say she dislikes him either. So she's gotta figure out what she's gonna do here. She certainly had pointed it out. And to his face, no less. Yeah. It had a mere figure of speech that he was not meant to take literally. But now is not the time to belabor the point.
そうじゃなくて、あなたが私に惚れてても期待しないでって言ってるの。
Oh god, she went out and just said it. Jesus Christ. Oh no. Yet belabor she did anyway. Oh god. Aoko blushed slightly, realizing how inane she was being. She wondered how she'd ended up in this position. And yet she knew that she had to get this off her chest. All that was left was to politely wait for his response. I can't date you. Such heartbreakingly painful words were too much for the simple boy to hear. His shoulders slumped as if the world was coming to an end. Or so Aoko thought. On the contrary, Sojiro was sitting there deep in thought.
俺が青崎に惚れてるって?
Oh boy. The fucking... Jesus Christ. Tobimaru, why'd you have to fucking take his words out of context? Like, or you misunderstood it. Fucking Tobimaru caused this whole fucking ordeal. Well, not the whole ordeal, just the, you know, this bit. But, Jesus Christ, dude. Sojiro murmured the words as if they were a magic spell. He's like, what the fuck are you on about? She shot right back with the affirmative. Please tell him that Tobimaru told you that. Please, I beg of you. That way he knows what the fuck is happening and he can... Oh my god. After a moment of deep contemplation, the boy turned to the expectant girl and said,
なんで
Oh my god. Just the fucking CD fucking scratch cutting out, bro. Oh my god. Please. Okay. Also, to be fair though, the whole thing about him saying he wouldn't mind getting killed if it was like by her, I guess that could help lend credence to the misunderstanding. But still, please just tell him what Tobimaru told you. He had to be joking, but he wasn't. Oh my god. She's like, oh fuck, oh no. He was completely serious. He liked her, but he didn't like her. Yeah. Of course the vice president had jumped to conclusions. This boy had no interest in romance. He probably didn't even know what that was. Oh. Yeah, you fucked up. She was incredibly embarrassed by how confused Sojiro still appeared to be. Just tell him that Tobimaru told you that! Her rosy complexion spread throughout her entire body.
うん。もう一度聞くけど、なんで
Poor Sojiro, he didn't do nothing. Oh. Should have saved that punch for Tobimaru. Just like that, she had lost her cool and given in to an unjustifiable outburst. It was time to seal off the area and destroy all evidence. Aoko's embarrassment devolved into sheer panic, and her grudge against Tobimaru suddenly manifested as criminal assault. She lashed out with a punch that could have taken down a bird mid-flight. More specifically, it was a brutal right hook. Aoko blinked. Her blow had connected something solid, snapping her out of her reverie. Her temper had lashed out at the completely defenseless Sojiro. It had been a splendid blow with all her weight behind it, knocking him out cold. I mean, hey, you know, best case scenario, he's relatively unharmed, just he forgets the events of the last 5 minutes that happened. You know, that'd be good. Probably not though. Sojiro groaned, crumpling to the ground. Her punch finished the job that the curse had started. If not for the discomfort on his face, he appeared almost to be sleeping. Aoko convinced herself that he was napping, not concussed. Right. Yeah, of course.
ま、いっか。予定通りになったものね。
The tension in her shoulders eased away as she looked down at Sojiro. A ton had gotten in her way over the course of today, but the day was saved for now. With nobody left to butt heads, she felt exhaustion finally overtake her.
うわ、歩いて帰れるかな、私。
Alice, maybe we'll do something for you? Her fatigue was enough to make her complain out loud. When she thought about it, she realized this was the first time she'd used up all of her magical energy, and the first time she had participated in a battle of this scale without any prior preparation. Though in truth,
私一人じゃどっちも相打ちだったっけ
yeah. She felt somewhat proud as she whispered those words. Normally, it was something that she would beat herself up over, but instead, she simply shrugged her shoulders with a bitter smile. After all, it was thanks to the person sleeping by her side.
ね、聞こえてないわよね。
I don't think so. As if the night had swallowed her voice before it reached him, she received no response. Confident, she continued in an even quieter voice.
その、ありがとう。十分に助けてもらったわ。
Okay. Of course, there was no response from Sojiro, and she wasn't expecting one. Saying it for the record was enough. Again, where's Alice been in all this? I'm just waiting for her to show up. Aoko watched Sojiro sleep for a while and then pulled something out of her pocket. It was the palm-sized glass bottle her roommate had given her, which she opened with a pop.
でも、それとこれとは別だから。
Hmm? Leaving behind words colder than a winter chill at night, she called out his name. She barely sensed the bottle moving. As the silhouette of the fallen boy appeared to blur, she got the feeling that the weight of the bottle had increased slightly.
うわ、どうなってんだろうこれ。
Did she just suck his soul out of his body and put it in the bottle? So she's letting him live, but his soul is trapped in like a hellscape forever. Is that what's happening? What appeared to be a human form could clearly be seen inside the glass. Alice Quonji's tools were mystics that confounded even the most knowledgeable of mages. As soon as Aoko tried to analyze them with logical reason, she was already out of her depth. Knowing this all too well, Aoko closed the bottle and watched the boy disappear as if by some magic trick. What the fuck?
Mattaku, こんなの手品じゃなくて魔法だって。
That's so fucked. I hope she's just using it to transport him, and she's not planning on keeping him in there. I'll be pissed. She muttered as she looked into the magical bottle. Its weight had not changed significantly, and she had no idea how it worked. But the one thing she did know was that there was a human being inside of it. Its light weight was almost unnerving. Closer to empty air than a human being. It was about as heavy as one would expect if they'd bottled a summer breeze. Though that did fit her image of Sojiro perfectly.
アリスの言う通り。
She muttered no one in particular as she recalled the past.
ほんと、私らしくない。
Mm-hmm. Aoko wore a bittersweet smile. Her usual moodiness was gone. It was a dangerous world out there. It was good to have someone to keep her on her toes. With a wry chuckle, she flicked the magical bottle with her finger and set off walking. If she doesn't let him out, I sincerely hope that this is just her not wanting to leave him out in the fucking field or whatever they were at, and is just transporting him. If she plans to keep him imprisoned, I'm kind of pissed. Like, oh yeah, I didn't kill you. I'm just, yeah. Like, okay. She could hear a bell in the distance, signaling the end of the play. An ephemeral dream gave way to reality. In the grand scheme of things, it had been but an instant. As the actors exited stage left, the last of the lights silently flickered out. And so, the long-dead amusement park played its final role as a memory for a boy and a girl. Okay. That is the end of... What chapter was that? Was that chapter 7? Was that chapter 6? I think that was chapter 6. Anyway, I'm gonna end it there. And I can already tell, based off of this title for the next chapter, that they are gonna let him out. But I've seen a lot of anime, and girls will make guys be their servants and basically they call them dogs. I'm gonna assume that's their plan for Sojiro. He's gonna basically be their dog. So, at least there's that. He won't be stuck in a bottle forever. That's good, if I'm right. I'm pretty sure I am. But, yeah, anyway. Thank you all for watching, and, yeah, next time we'll get in, again, I think chapter 7, I think Like a Dog is chapter 7. Because that was Tea Time 6 that it said, and each Tea Time would be in between chapters, so the 6th will be in between 6 and 7. So yeah, the next one should be 7. But yeah, Alice said if they survived the night, that she would let it go for now. But how is she gonna react to Aoko just deciding that they're gonna let him live in general? Like, forever. For the time being. Because, like, again, based off the title of the chapter, Like a Dog, I assume they're gonna make him their servant. But, like, how willing is Alice gonna be in that arrangement? And how willing is Sojiro gonna be in that arrangement, to be honest? Because, like, I guess, and assuming they give him a place in the mansion, he wouldn't have to spend all his money on the apartment anymore. But that's just conjecture. I don't know. But anyway, yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. And I'll catch y'all for chapter 7 later.